Right. Welcome, everybody, to the Lead Maker webinar on how to skyrocket your insurance agency into the stratosphere and take your agency to the next level. I've got with me today my two partners. We've got Mark Blackwell, all the way from today. He's all the way in New Zealand. And yeah, he's loving that. And then, of course, we've got Mr. Orlando Bell with us today.
How's it going, everybody?
Five-year farmers insurance agent, been around, been doing it, plugging away and doing some great things. And you're going to hear from him a little bit later. But we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off. I'm going to get started. I know your time is super valuable, so we're going to just jump right in. Again, this is a revolutionary year in the insurance industry. We're going to take your business to the next level. I know there's a lot of people out there a lot of agents out there kind of struggling and looking for some answers. And we're going to help provide some of those answers for you today. So if you don't mind, take some notes, jot down some stuff, listen up. We'll also have a recap, and we'll send it out to you after the call as well. But this is the year of leverage, and a real successful insurance agent who writes probably more than 10 million a year once said to me that you've got to learn how to leverage your time, and you've got to learn to leverage your money in order to become wealthy. And it's absolutely true. So today you're going to learn a little bit about those concepts, a little bit about leverage. We're going to teach you and show you some strategies that's going to really help your business take off to the next level. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about how to leverage an experienced virtual assistant. A lot of agencies are using virtual assistants these days to do a lot of things, cold calling, follow-ups, even quoting and things of that nature. And as you can see on the screen there, there's no better price point than less than $10 an hour if you can get there. I know in America it's very difficult to do. We're going to talk to you about how to outsource that and have unbelievable success doing it. So listen up, pay attention. We're going to talk about why and the hows of doing that. And then let's delve deeper right into it, okay? So again, leveraging time and flexibility. Your time is money. Your time away from your family, the time doing the things that you don't want to do. You could spend doing the things that you do want to do, and hiring the right people to help you take care of your business. In the U.S., in Silicon Valley, I had an IT company there for many years and had lots of employees and had lots of expenses dealing with all of the regulations and healthcare and taxes and you name it. There's all kinds of stuff that you've got to deal with when you're hiring locally in the United States. We're going to talk to you about how to outsource that to outside the U.S. and still have unbelievable success. And a lot of you probably think, well, why do I need to hire a virtual assistant? What's that going to do for me? What's that going to do for my business? Well, let me just ask you a couple of questions here. Okay. How many of you out there like to pound phones and do all your cold calling and getting rejection after rejection from people? not very many, right? Not very many people like to deal with that. So that's one task that you could certainly outsource, and I think you'd probably have a much better results, and you probably live a lot longer with less stress, right? Quality of life, folks. Quality of life. Spending hours on the phone servicing your clients and dealing with complaints and managing this and managing that. All that stuff can be outsourced to a virtual assistant, obviously, at a very low cost. Following up and collecting information for your quotes. That's tedious, time-consuming tasks. And believe it or not, it probably takes up, a large portion of the office staff. If you have an office staff already internally doing that information, it could easily be done from an outsourced perspective here in either the Philippines or even in South America. You can have Spanish speaking, you can have bilingual, you can do a lot of things with outsourcing that would be very difficult to do in America these days to do. Okay, how many of you like emailing hundreds of people every day? Probably not too many. So what are the costs associated with doing this type of outsourced virtual assistant? Well, let me tell you something, folks. You can save 77% or more. We've done an analysis. We've studied this. It's quite incredible when you break down the cost saving strategies. 77% on staffing costs And not only that, you're going to, in America, depending on where you are, an average office worker wants to make about $60,000 a year. They want the health benefits. They want worker. You got to have all your workers' comp. You got to have all that stuff. You got to have sick leave and holiday pay and bonuses and Christmas. You got to have all these things organized. And it gets very, very costly. Again, we're talking to you today about leverage. Okay, leveraging your time, leveraging your money, and keeping your sanity. This is kind of interesting. You maintain entrepreneurial sanity with the help of virtual assistants. So again, but how good are they? How quality are they? How much can they actually do in your office remotely without actually being there? Are they proficient in insurance? Do they understand the nuances of what to do with an insurance policy or collecting the right information? Well, obviously it takes a little bit of time. You have to train, but we have, if you work with a company like LeadMaker as an example, we have people that have been working with us for many, many years that have been deployed at Allstate, Farmers, and Smart Choice, doing Easy Links, and they understand just about every type of CRM out there, like whether you're using Agency Zoom or Agency MVP or some type of Apex or Lead Manager or anything like that. We have people on our team that you could basically almost plug and play, and you're off to the races within a few days of some simple training on strategies and ROI and what you want your KPIs to look like and what you want your virtual assistant to actually do. There's so many things that you can do, and we're going to talk about that here next. And then you're going to hear from one of our partners here on the call on how he's been using his virtual assistant. But before we bring him on, I'm going to just kind of walk through some of these things with you, because many folks don't realize all of the amazing things that your VA can actually do as long as you get the right VA in place, and hiring and training and motivating and all that stuff. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But, these are some stuff that you can think about, and I'm sure you can find a few more things that aren't on this list. But, automation is key. Your office has to flow. It has to have, X dates for renewals. You've got to have trigger points for emails and text, and ability for this to kind of self-automate itself. A lot of it can be done, but you have to have somebody managing that. And a VA is a great person to have internally or outsourced remotely doing all this stuff. And, quite frankly, with the day and age we're living in, with internet and technology the way that it is, and ChatGPT and everything else, remote work can be done anywhere in the world. I'm chatting with you right now from the Philippines. Obviously, the sun is just coming up. I'm on Friday morning over here at 6:00 in the morning. So you get an idea that your virtual assistant could literally be working US hours from any country in the world and working with you on a daily basis and cultivating that strategy around your office team and all that stuff. So you probably have lists of maybe leads that you've purchased over the years, right? So we need to clean that list. You need to keep a hygiene of that list running, get X dates on there. Your VA could be calling down that list, finding out who's got a renewal coming up, getting them in a process to where we can pipeline that and get that in for tagging that for a specific day in a week, in a month in the future to reach back out to those folks or send them an email or something like that. Collecting policy information, dealing with all kinds of information there that you need to get as an insurance agent, right? You've got to have all that stuff organized. So organizing calendars and travel schedules and all that stuff that you're looking at on the screen, all these things can be done remotely at a cost factor that is going to blow your mind. You can save so much money. I'd like to bring in my one of our partners here, a Farmers insurance agent for, I think, close to 5 years, I believe he's going on. He's been working with us here at LeadMaker internally and helping us grow up our business because he has real inside knowledge on the insurance industry. He knows it, this guy knows it better than anybody that I've talked to. He knows everything on the inside. And so I'd love for you to hear from somebody who's actually, walking the talk, so to speak. And so I'd like to bring on Mr. Orlando Bell. Orlando.
All right.
Maybe.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, listen, I don't know everything. I'm still a baby in this industry. But one of the things that I learned kind of early on is definitely how to leverage your time. When I was going through, Farmers University, learning the system, no one kind of talked to you about the real world, kind of the service part of our job, and how, as my agency continued to grow, the service side of things started to grow and took away from my time. And I was so focused on taking care of the clients. I wanted them to be happy, not to leave me, and want to make sure that they're happy, giving them my cell phone number, call me when you need me. And trust me, and you guys all know they do. They will call you any old time, weekends and holidays and so on. But what I've kind of learned from some of the big, money makers that are, in my district and here around the Bay Area. I'm in San Francisco, by the way, is a lot of these folks have, virtual assistants, and they are leveraging their time, because we're not making money unless we're in front of a client, right? We're not making money unless we are selling insurance. I mean, service is great. It's a necessary evil, but what if you can just delegate some of that stuff to a virtual assistant? Now, I've had my virtual assistant for 4 years now. She's been with me, and I also have a second virtual assistant that I use for marketing, my social media. I mean, I'm in my 50s, so social media is not my thing. Okay, so I had to hire a young person to do that for me, to help me stay on top of that. I mean, this is the new world that we live in. You need a social media footprint out there if you want to survive. So social media is big. I'm not the most organized person, so having somebody help me keep all my appointments together, helping me do my schedule, confirming my appointments, rescheduling if need be, that's a huge thing that I use my virtual assistant for. Of course, all the data entry, all that stuff that we don't like to do, entering all the information you need to prepare a quote. My VA handles that stuff for me. And then, of course, the marketing side of things is, she helps me cold call. When she's not busy helping me with admin stuff, I have her on the phones cold calling. I give her a neighborhood in the area, and I say, okay, I need you to call all these businesses in this geographical area. Depending on the appetite for the company that you're working for, for me, I'm my previous life, I'm a restaurant guy, so I have her call restaurants. That's no longer in the appetite for farmers, but smaller businesses, I'm able to connect with those folks, and she'll just call them up, because guess what? They have to answer the phone because they're in business. So having her connect with the owner, get past the gatekeeper, and then really book an appointment for me, that is invaluable. And I tell you, that has made me a good, I've gotten a lot of commercial business just from that piece alone. And then, of course, having, we all buy leads. I'm one of those people too. I buy leads. And who wants to call leads? who wants to really do that? I don't. So having my VA call those leads, qualify the leads, because you want to talk to people that are qualified, right? Who are going to buy, qualify those leads, and then booking the appointments for me, getting the information I need to be able to make a quote. So then when I talk to the client, I'm not wasting their time. And then, of course, cross-selling your existing book, that's another big one. Of course, I'm the salesman. That's what she does. But what she does is, if she'll call them up, if their renewal is coming up, and say, hey, Orlando would love to schedule some time with you to go over your current policies. Oh, by the way, I see that you don't have life insurance with us. Who are you insured with currently? And then that opens up the conversation. Okay, great. I'm going to put that in the notes here so Orlando can discuss that with you. So that is really, really huge. Of course, all the, we have to chase people for information when, getting lost runs, getting missing information that we need to do the quote. So those are really important things. And lastly, I'll just say, she's an accountability partner. I mean, she makes money based off of the money that I make, right? So I give her a little piece, a little bonus. If I close a policy, I'll give her a piece. So when she sets up an appointment, she's calling me the next day saying, what happened, Orlando? Did you follow up with that person? Did you close it? What happened? He's pushing me, right? So that really helps me, kind of motivates me along, because of course she's counting on me. And, and then as a result, my agency's grown. I have a couple of producers now. And again, using the same system, getting the virtual assistants is what they have as well. So I highly encourage it. If you guys are on the fence about it, get back with us. You're going to have our information later, and we can talk. We can dive into a little bit more. Your specific agency will be different, obviously, but I'm sure we can find something that we can customize for you. So,
Orlando, let me ask you a question. Well, since we're on this topic here, how long did it take when you brought your VA on board and to get her at full speed? How long did that process take? Was it a week? Was it a month? Give us a little bit of timeline.
Yeah, it's listen, this is no different than hiring somebody that you would bring into your office and who's working in your office. You're gonna have to spend time with them, and it just depends. People learn at different speeds. I mean, I'll admit I went through a couple of VAs before I found the one that I have now, and she's smart. I mean, the VAs. I'll have to tell you the quality of VAs that we do employ. Most of them are college graduates. The majority of them have experience when it comes to insurance. The English is perfect. I mean, we're in America, okay? So everybody has some type of accent, but they are very, very good communicators. So that's a big piece of the speed of how you're going to be able to train them. And then, of course, we have a team. It's not just the VA working, okay? This is another piece, Lance. It's the whole back end. We got a whole team behind the scenes. We got managers, myself, the partners here. We are all supporting, helping train, and helping get them up to speed. So it might have taken me a little bit more time, but the system now that we have in place, we can accelerate that time a lot quicker for you if you're interested in a virtual assistant.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you getting on and sharing with the group today.
Absolutely.
Your experience. And I've just seen it work in your agency, and I've seen it work in so many others. And your testimonial for that is solid, And so I appreciate you sharing that with the group today. All right, let's go ahead and let's just continue on here because time is valuable, right? And I know that you guys all have other things to be doing. So let's talk real quick. Obviously your VA can become cold call and live transfer. A lot of people keep asking how many appointments can they book? How many live transfers can I get? All that kind of stuff. The answer to that is dependent on a few factors, right? The quality of the leads that we're getting, that they're able to call on. It depends. If the leads are good, man, they can be getting 1 or 2 live transfers an hour, or more, depending, right? Could be even a lot more than that. And it also depends on what type of info. Do you want us to collect the quote details, the VIN number, all the stuff that would be collected and put into some kind of CRM? That takes a little bit of time, obviously, right? So those questions can be answered. But I want to talk to you about cost because I know that's on the back of everybody's mind. The economy, economics, how can I afford this? Look at the screen, folks. If you are watching from a laptop or a phone, we have a program in place for a starting point VA, okay? Just a starting point VA for 20 hours per month at only $250. Very, very few companies and places that you can go to find a scalable opportunity at only 1 hour a day and put somebody to work and get them kind of working in your system and calling leads and following up and kind of starting the process for this what we're explaining to you today at only $250 a month. I mean that's not even a cup of coffee every day. Literally, it's less than that. So very inexpensive to start, and you can add hours as you go. And you could kind of dip your toe in the water, so to speak, if you wanted to. Or obviously, that cost comes down if you start to employ people, a VA on a full-time basis. 160 hours full-time VA working 8 hours a day is $10 an hour. Okay, so again, very inexpensive. These are 2024 pricing. Compare that to, I think I just saw a bill in Congress in the U.S. that they're trying to pass in some places where it could be as high as $50 an hour in some. I think that's bananas to even think about that. But here, if you outsource with us, the costs can be dramatically lower. Let's just say that. And then take a look on the screen over here. What are some of the things that you're going to get if you do hire a VA from LeadMaker? Well, number one, you don't have to run an adult daycare center. You don't have to sit around and manage that person on a day-to-day basis because you actually get a supervisor. So you not only, for that same price that we just showed you, you'll actually have somebody that will be meeting with your VA on a daily basis and kind of looking over their results, going through their script, listening in on phone calls, making sure they're following the right protocols that we've discussed in the beginning of your onboarding process. We're going to give you, we have a phone system that you can use if you like, or we can use your phone system. It's perfectly fine. Either way you like, we can provide it for you. Or we can use the one you're accustomed to using, the one that rings in on your phone line, and they can answer your phones too, like an inbound receptionist type of situation. All that stuff can be done and managed for you. I talked a little bit about training and coaching. Just like any employee, they need a supervision. They need to make sure that we're kind of always updating their skills and looking at how we can improve workflows. So, and motivating and things of that nature. That's all included with our program. You don't have to worry about jumping in and trying to, although if you like to do it, if you want to spend the extra time, we certainly encourage you to, because, remember that this person will become part of your team. So the more they interact with you on a daily basis and a weekly basis and getting to know your flow and your systems and your team and your staff and how they can help you, they're just going to become more valuable to your office, and the whole thing inside of your operations there, right? We're going to be time tracking, monitoring their scheduling, their hours that they're working, sending you a nice summary of all that information. Do you need help with scripts? When you do those phone calls, we've got a great script writing team that knows how to get right to the decision maker. You just heard from Orlando, and he's got an amazing strategy, and I think maybe on the next webinar, maybe we can dive into it a little bit more, or we can schedule a private consultation with you. But he's got a great strategy on how to get through the gatekeeper, right? You got this cold caller, you got this telemarketer, and they're calling a restaurant, and you really need to get to the CFO or the controller or the general manager. You got to get to the decision maker when you're talking about insurance, right? So usually those people are not answering the phone. You're dealing with a gatekeeper, a secretary, a receptionist who's trying to block you and turn you around and tell you, oh, the boss is busy, call back tomorrow. And, we got a way to get through that. And in fact, we're going to talk to you about that here in a minute. We've got another strategy that you're going to hear from our other partner, Mark, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about that here in a second as well. Again, you get a dedicated team available to help you utilize your VA in all levels, okay? It's not just a one-size-fits-all. We literally customize it to understand what's going to give you the best value for the hours that VA is working, okay? So we're going to do that with you. We're going to do that for you. A little bit about LeadMaker. Who are we? We've been around for 10 years plus, actually more like 11 or 12 now. I think that's outdated. We're focused on insurance. We started in the insurance industry. Most of us have been in the insurance industry. I started in surety bonds in the Seattle, Washington area with a small little company called CBIC Bonding. So I understand the commercial side of stuff. Orlando, PNC. Mark has done health and life insurance and stuff like that. So our team, very, very insurance centric. I don't even know. I'm sure we're way more than 99,000 leads generated. I don't think that's even a calculable number, but it gives you an idea of how many leads we're able to generate in that time frame. We know for a fact that we've done over 100 million in US dollars in written premiums through our systems and through our VA cold callers, telemarketers, our online marketing systems and all that stuff. We've got offices in the Manila, Philippines area, San Francisco, California, and Sydney, Australia. Yeah, we're all over the globe. Again, this is a global world here. We can operate remotely from anywhere. We specialize in insurance, so we do LinkedIn, social media. You're going to learn a little. We're going to give you a little teaser today, just a little taste of how to use some of your social media to start booking appointments and have your VA focus on a very specific area doing that. We're going to talk to you about that here in a minute. So for right now, I'd like to go ahead and invite our other partner, Mr. Mark Blackwell, he's beaming in on a satellite dish all the way from the middle of the outback, right? Mark,
Wow.
take it away.
I'm actually on a small little island called Waikiki, not to be confused with Hawaii's Waikiki. But yeah, I'm on a Elon Musk Starlink right now, so I've got perfect internet, which is really nice. But yeah, we want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn. Any of you that have actually jumped on a call with us, or had discussions with us, or even maybe clients are on with us right now, we love LinkedIn. We love it for a whole variety of reasons. But as Orlando mentioned earlier, if you have a virtual assistant, they can run your social media. And obviously, I put a few on the page there, like your TikToks and Facebooks, Instagram. People relate to those in all different ways, and they're really good at being updated and everything. But when it comes to insurance agencies, we notice that LinkedIn is really the place that you want to be, and this is how you can actually deploy your virtual assistant if you have one. And the key is really that very first line I've put there, and it's the fact that you're not dealing with any gatekeepers. When you write to somebody on LinkedIn, the CEO of that business, the owner of that business, you are going directly to them. You are not going through the secretary, through all those different types of gatekeepers or a voicemail. You're going direct. And there is so many people on there. There's over 1 billion users now on LinkedIn, and I think it's over 200 million of those are in the US. So wherever you are in the US, even if you're in a very remote area, you'll find lots and lots and lots of business owners on LinkedIn, and you can write to them directly. And it's a very organic way of doing it. When you reach out to someone, it's very much, it's your profile, it's your face, it's your brand that's actually writing to them. So you don't become so generic in there. It's very organic in that way. It's proper networking. We've been doing this across hundreds of agencies running their LinkedIn. So this is what we've noticed, right? The best targets for insurance agents to go after. I'm sure you've been on there. You see all the filters. Business owners is the most obvious one, right? Plumbers, electricians, even like doctors' clinics, dentist clinics, florists, all of these types of business owners are on LinkedIn, and you can use those filters and search for those business owners. This is, of course, aimed at getting a commercial policy of all the different types. But yeah, commercial policies, this is the way forward. We've noticed, especially farmers and Allstate really focusing on commercial right now. So this is perfect. Another way that we like to use LinkedIn for insurance agencies, and we recommend you do this, is actually connecting with people who can connect you with the client, as in a referral partner. So this is like mortgage brokers and realtors, attorneys. You might have some more. But with attorneys, we actually like to go after like family attorneys, like people who are dealing with divorces, because it's court mandated that they need to get life insurance. So it's a perfect way to get that referral. And obviously mortgage brokers and realtors, we're talking about homeowner insurance. But those people that own homes, they own cars, they own jet skis, they own RVs, or all these different things. So it's a really good way to get in front of a customer without cold calling, without all that kind of thing. You're just being referred over. So you can create these connections on LinkedIn by targeting mortgage brokers, realtors, and creating that connection. It's great. And the third one is actually to look at your own personal life. So Orlando mentioned earlier, he used to work in restaurants, but we might talk to another agent and they used to work in like medical device sales, or they might have previously done something else, been a teacher. And so we definitely recommend that you actually look in those types of targets. You can actually contact, let's say if you were a teacher, you can target other teachers and you're instantly relatable to them. So you're going direct to the client. This isn't even a B2B situation. This is a B2C. You can contact them and say, I used to be a teacher. Now I'm in insurance. I'd love to get you a quote. You're instantly creating that connection. But that goes with the niche that I put there too. So I've given the example before, but we have a client who has lots of police officers on his books. That's just happened for him. And then he's capitalizing on that and reaching out to more police officers on LinkedIn. And, all those detectives and people that are kind of loosely related to the forces. It's just an instant connection. So it works really well. We definitely recommend these 3 kind of targets for insurance agents. So one thing you can do, if I connect with you now on LinkedIn, I immediately get access to your phone number and email address. By accepting my connection, you sort of give that data away. And it's just a phone number and email. Some people do hide it. So around 40% of phone numbers are available and 90% of email addresses are available. And what we like to do is actually capture that. And we recommend you do the same. And this is something that your VA can do for you, is every time you connect with someone, just pull that bit of data and start to create a database of people in your area, the people that you're contacting. So just to give you an idea, this is how we organize it. So obviously this is, celebrity names, just for an example. But we like to have a really nice organized spreadsheet, and these are all the connections that you make, and then all of their data. You can see the email addresses and phone numbers, the types of messages. We mark the ones which are leads. And this is what a VA can do for you. They can actually organize everything that you do on LinkedIn, keep it really nice and structured, because we're all very hectic as business owners, right? Be on this, on this, on this, on this. You forget about that part, and it just gets a little bit crazy. I'm sure everyone can relate to that. But having somebody like a VA keep you structured and be focused on keeping all this data and making sure you're following up is priceless. Other things that they can do on LinkedIn for you is actually invite connections to follow your corporate page. It sounds simple, but if you go on your corporate page on LinkedIn, everyone has a personal profile and then a corporate profile. You can go on that corporate page. There's a little box and you can just invite your connections. Every month you get, I think, 250 credits to invite people to follow your corporate page. It's tedious. There's lots of clicking and stuff. It's not very fun, but it's something you can get a VA to do for you. And we really recommend it because you build up that following. There's also lots of LinkedIn groups. Maybe you've seen these before. There's some relating to interests, some hobbies, some type of business, or maybe location. There's loads of insurance groups out there. But it actually makes sense for you to kind of join one that's localized for you. So it might be based in your city or your town, and you're going to be connecting and seeing posts and you posting with all of your community. So it's great. And talking of posts, that's my third point there, is definitely you want to be posting a lot. And again, this is exactly what Orlando has. His VA is posting on various different sites, but it's about that consistency, having somebody post regularly at the absolute minimum once per week. If you can do once per day, even better. Just keeping on top, making sure your followers, all the connections that you make, just don't forget about you. When it comes through, when they get their, I don't know, State Farm or Farmers or whoever their insurance is with, they get their renewal through, it's through the roof. They're like, oh my God, I need to go find something else. Who am I going to call? Not the Ghostbusters. Who am I going to call? They're going to call the person they keep seeing, pop up on their LinkedIn, the expert that keeps posting and showing off that they're expert in that field. So, and again, that goes with the engage with audience. When you start liking other people's posts, when you start commenting on their posts, doing all of this type of thing, you just keep in their mind. And it's something that's very difficult to do by yourself, just consistently every day. But if you have a virtual assistant, particularly if you have it with us, we train them very well. We use LinkedIn across thousands of profiles. So you can have that kind of thing going. It's really perfect. If you don't want a VA to do that, you can have a VA and you can allocate some time to like LinkedIn lead generation. If you don't want to do it like that and you don't want a specific person, we actually offer it as a service, like just a standalone service, where we just offer the LinkedIn lead generation. And that includes all of these parts that I've just put on the screen here. So it starts from your profile. We actually look at your profile, make it like very professional banners and write up and everything, and make sure it looks super professional. We work with you on the strategy of like who we're going to be contacting and how, etc. Then specifically jumping into that targeting, how we create those filters and make sure we're targeting the right people. We then look at the messaging, not just the messaging that goes out, but when they come in and the different types of questions that you might get, how do we take that from just a conversation to like a call to action? How do we actually get them on the call? So the messaging and those follow-ups, people don't always reply to you straight away. They might take a few attempts, 6, 7, 8. It's just the same with cold calls and anything else, even emails or even direct mail. You've got to follow up all the time. So we handle all of that. We alert you when there are leads available. When somebody says, sure, I need a quote on my 1999 Chevy. Okay, we pass it over, you carry it on. And then database management. I showed you what your VA could do with the database. We do all of that for you, included in this. And then A/B testing. I'm sure you guys know where you have like 2 variables and you test like which is working with this type of message or this type of target. We do all of that and improve it as we go along. We do that across lots of different industries, but of course we focus heavily on insurance. Like it was mentioned, you know, all 3 of us actually have a huge insurance background, and now all of our team have huge insurance backgrounds. So yeah, we would love to work with you, and that can either be as a standalone product, or we can do it as part of your VA service if you're having them do lots of different tasks. Yeah, it's something that we do a lot. I'm just gonna bring my colleagues back just as we make this nice little announcement, because I mentioned earlier that lots of people are focusing on commercial, but the other one is life insurance, right? We've really noticed it across every company, whether it's independent or like farmers, etc. Like really focusing on life insurance and commercial. So we've worked very hard to find a really good source of life insurance leads, which we are now happy to kind of stamp our approval on. And we would love to provide you with those life insurance leads if you want them. They are solid. I don't know if my partners want to comment further on that.
Well, yeah, I'd like to just say one thing. The life insurance leads are fantastic because they're real time. You get them when somebody actually requests life insurance and they need to get a quote. And we're not sending them to any other agent other than you. So if you buy our life insurance leads or our auto or homeowners leads, we don't send them to any other agency. So they're exclusive for you. So that's, and they're not expensive as compared to a lot of the lead companies out there that are charging like $20 or more for those types of leads, much lower. And in fact, Orlando, you could probably speak to that because you're getting like you're closing like 2 or 3 out of 10. Is that, am I right about that on your auto and homeowners?
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm focusing on the home leads. I've been buying those, and just started recently with the life leads. Of course, that's what our company is pushing. Of course, is life and commercial. Still able to write homes and having a lot of success. Well, for me, it's been a success. About 20% of the leads that I purchase, I'm able to close. And of course, if they haven't said no to me, I put I follow up on those folks. And a lot of people I will follow up 6 months, a year later. I mean, you guys all know that. No lead is a dead lead, unless they tell you don't call me anymore. So I keep them all. And
out of interest, Orlando, how many touch points do you reckon you need to make before you actually get a good conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a false to think that you're going to make the phone call and make the sale the first time. Don't set yourself up for failure. Just you're going to need to follow up with these folks. Timing is everything, but I would say a minimum of like, I would say 6 to 8 touches that you're going to need to call back, leave a message, call back, 2 days later, call back next week, that kind of a thing. Yeah, the leads that we offer are real time, and you have a good chance of those people picking up. But if they don't pick up because everyone has caller ID, then you're going to need to return those calls. And again, that's where your VA can actually help you with that, to get back in touch with those people. Because chances are, if they're looking on the internet for home insurance, life insurance, or whatever, they've probably filled out several online forms. So there's probably other insurance companies that they are perhaps looking at as well. So you want to get back in touch with them and show that you're consistent, that you're going to be there. So don't give up after the first try. Keep going and make contact. And just one last thing is, if it's life insurance that they're calling about, and you get them on the phone, you still have an opportunity to cross-sell them on something else. So if you get a live one on the phone, don't lose the opportunity, make the connection, and then you can sell them a different product. So that's it.
Beautiful. All right.
That's it.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed our little webinar today and learned a little bit of information to help your agency skyrocket sales in 2024. You see on the screen our website and our email. Feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to meet you, personally, and dive in and try to customize something for you or answer questions. We're here to help. So look for our next webinar coming up. We're going to be talking a little bit more on commercial and some other things too coming up. So have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your week.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks
everybody.
everyone. See you later. Bye.